Today, I'm going to be building a full-blown mining operation with an automatic storage system. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and let's get this video to 5,000 likes for episode 3. Now, before we go ahead and get started on this strip mine, I actually want to go ahead and build a wheat field right off to the side over here, because this one up here is just not going to cut it. It's not very big, and I kind of want to switch it over to just mainly a potato field. And then eventually, if we get some carrots, I'll build another small carrot field. I've harvested up the small field a few times, so I'm hoping this is enough seeds to build the next one, but I'm not sure it's gonna be. I guess we'll just have to find out. I first went ahead and brought in some fences and placed them around the perimeter of this field, and then took some birch leaves and oak leaves to add a little bit of lush around those fences. And on a few of these, I'll place lanterns to make sure the place is nice and lit up and there's no mob spawning. From there, I could start to figure out where the water sources are gonna be, and I don't really think there's a science to it, so I just always usually go around finding random spots. And then I put some upside down slabs over the top of them and waterlogged them, so when I'm harvesting the farms, I'm not constantly falling into the water sources. Similar to the other field, the 4 blocks just around the water sources where sugarcane can grow, I went ahead and replaced them with normal dirt so I can place sugarcane in, making this field useful in 2 ways, one for wheat and the other one for a little sugarcane harvesting farm. And finally, to finish things off, I grabbed my wheat seeds and started filling in all the farmland with these seeds. I didn't have nearly enough seeds to get this entire field placed in, so I'm just gonna wait for it to grow up, harvest it, and place the remaining seeds in. This field is almost fully grown, so honestly, once I harvest it, that should be enough seeds to fill in the other field. Do you have any goodies to trade, kind sir? No, you don't. Moving on to the mine entrance, I'm gonna build it right over here where these peonies are, which I need to remove just because it makes it kind of difficult to see what I'm gonna be doing. That should be fine. And I'm gonna use some dirt to bring out the land just a little bit so it doesn't feel so cramped, especially once I put in the structure. And I also want to have a nice pathway leading up to it, because one of my big things in this world is to have pathways leading to everything. Even if a build is 1,000 blocks away, I would really like to build a pathway to it, even though that's probably gonna suck and not be fun to do. And just like that, we have a nice little pathway leading up to the big platform that we can build on for this mine entrance. Although it's not completely finished yet, because I still need to do a little bit of terraforming down here, because that's not gonna cut it. Okay, now how do I get back? Do I really have to go all the way around just to get back up to the top? That is another thing we'll fix, is adding a little staircase from the shoreline up to where our builds are actually gonna be. With a little bit of terraforming left, I went ahead and set up my cobblestone generator so I can gather a couple stacks of cobblestone and smelt it into stone. Now that the stone is all smelted up, I can go ahead and finish the terraforming right here and also add in a pathway. While I finish up the terraforming, I wanted to take a second to talk about my brand new YouTube membership, which is just going to be a way for you guys to support me if you want to show a little extra love. It's going to be $4.99, and it comes with progress photos, decisions in what videos I'm going to make next, and sometimes even early access to those videos. So if you want to support me just a little bit more, go ahead and join that membership. So far, this area is looking pretty sweet. I'm really happy with how this cliff has turned out, except I'd like to maybe use some bone meal along the grass here, just to add in some short grass and even some tall grass for a little bit more detail. I don't have a single bone to my name though, so that's gonna have to wait till a little bit later. And no, my chests are not yet organized, because I'm planning on building a storage room in the next episode or 2, so I don't really care if they're organized just yet. Although I can feel you guys judging me in the comments. Taking a quick break from this project, I want to head out on a little adventure. I'm nearing level 30, and I would really love to be able to get some of my tools or armor enchanted before the end of this episode, so I'm gonna go out and look for some villages that are full of librarian villager buildings. I'm also gonna kill pretty much every cow I see on the way, because I can also get leather that way. Since I'm traveling by boat, I found a few sunken ships that I decided to swim down into and loot. One of them had pretty decent treasure, but the other 2 not so good. I also remembered to grab the treasure map so I can go around and dig up those loot chests. See how tiny that little dot of me is in the bottom right corner? That means I am extremely far from this treasure chest. Oh, and look at that, there's another sunken ship right over there that I missed. That ship did not really have anything good, so I continued on my journey looking for another village and some more cows to kill. The next village I found didn't have any bookshelves, but it was loaded to the brim with hay bales, so I used my hoe and collected all of this up. Guys, guess what? I just found a mesa, but it's like the smallest mesa known to man. There's a little bit more of it right over there, but this is mainly just red sand, which honestly I might spend a few minutes collecting up. I was starting to get close to the location on the treasure map, so once X marks the spot, I went ahead and dug around for quite a while looking for this chest, which for some reason was not even close to the X on the map. I'm now up to 46 leather, which is 1 more than I need to build this enchantment setup, and I also got some other goodies. Sadly, we were only able to get 1 diamond diamond from the wrecked ship, but I did get an enchanted golden apple, which is pretty sweet, along with a couple blocks of gold and the carrots that I wanted so badly. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and make that treacherous journey back home, which I guess now is almost 2,500 blocks away. Better get to it. I guess at some point in my journey back home, I lost my bed. I've looked through pretty much every one of the chests and I don't see it anywhere. And it also happens to be nighttime while it's raining. So I don't know what to do. There's a decent amount of sheep over there that I can go kill and get some wool to make a bed. But once again, it's nighttime and it's raining and this is hardcore Minecraft, so I don't want to die. You know what? I've grabbed my shield and I'm gonna make my way over there after I close this door and try to get 3 pieces of wool. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so absolutely terrifying right now. I just need 3 pieces though. 3 pieces have been acquired. I'm gonna make my way back over to the house, craft myself 1 bed, and then go to sleep so no more mobs are trying to kill me. Since I'm not quite level 30 yet, we're gonna go ahead and hold off on crafting all the bookshelves until I actually get up to level 30. Now that some time has passed, most of the wheat is all grown in, so I can go ahead and place in the rest of this field. This upper field is strictly going to be used for potatoes, and I'm hoping the 2 1/4 stacks of potatoes I have is enough to place this entire thing in. And it was with just 16 potatoes to spare. And now I can just go in and place the rest of this wheat field in. And also, since we got carrots while we were out on our journey, we're also gonna need to build a carrot field before this episode is over. I'm gonna wait on doing that though, because I really wanna get back to working on this mine entrance. To help myself with the planning process, I went ahead and took a screenshot of the land so I can kind of draw out a template that I'm gonna follow. Off to the right and left side, I wanna build some boulders, and then in between the 2 of them is where I actually wanna put the structure, which is where the entrance is gonna go. And inside of one of the boulders is where I'm gonna store a little storage room along with our cobblestone generator. The orange is going to represent some lava flowing out of the boulders just to kind of give that feel of more of a mine entrance. I'm obviously going to continue the path up to the front of the entrance along with building some custom trees up above it. And then the blue is my attempt at drawing a little storage cart. And don't judge me, I'm not very artistic. Now that I have a plan, I went ahead and got started on collecting up all the blocks I need. First up, I need quite a bit of cobblestone that I can smelt into stone for constructing these boulders. From there, I need some spruce logs, so I got some bone meal so I can get a 2x2 spruce tree, but 3 bone meal wasn't enough, so I went back and got 6 more and it finally grew. And then I also want to collect up a little bit of moss so I can do some texturing on the boulders, along with being able to craft some mossy cobblestone. And now that I have some items together, we can actually go ahead and get started on this mine entrance. For starters, I want to get the actual entrance itself kind of figured out before I go ahead and start constructing these boulders. I'm gonna go ahead and do a 5-block gap in between, and then I'm gonna bring these up, let's say 4 blocks, and then using some stairs I can kind of round this out a little bit, and then I actually want to bring some logs across the top like this. And of course I didn't bring enough with me. I think 5 blocks wide is going to be too unproportional and too large, so I'm actually going to bring this down to 3. I like the size of that a lot better. I'm going to strip all of these spruce logs down so it's a little lighter of a tone of brown, and then 1 block back I'm going to use some stone and cobblestone to do a touch of texturing, and that is where our door is going to go. And then using some more logs and a few slabs, I can do something a little bit like this, and then I'll bring it out another block using some stairs and some trap doors. I want these sides to carry out a little bit more, but I also want them to kind of disappear into the side of the boulders. So I'm gonna have the boulders start, let's say right about here. That will be one of them, and then the other one is gonna go, let's say right about here. And actually I'm gonna replace this stone and cobblestone with the same texturing we did with the oak logs and oak planks, because it was sort of starting to blend into these boulders right here, or at least the templates of them. With the basic idea figured out of what I want this place to look like, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into a time lapse because constructing these boulders take quite a while. There's always a sweet spot when it comes to terraforming because something small can go really quickly and something large will take a long time, but it's usually pretty easy to do. When you're working on these things that are kind of a medium size, I feel like it takes the longest because you need to be careful with what you detail with and also the shape of them since you don't have a ton of space to work with. I'd say this is a pretty solid start. I wasn't gonna build anything really on top of this mine entrance, but now that I've taken a step back from it, I feel like it maybe needs a second floor to it. Luckily, we're gonna have plenty of space to work with. It just means I'm not gonna be building the boulder that was gonna go back here. I don't know, I might still build it depending on how this second floor turns out, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Since I'm gonna be building a second floor, that does mean I'm gonna need some sort of roofing material, and I was gonna do brick and granite, but to stick with the same block template, I think I'm actually gonna use deep slate, which means I need to go collect some up. I really didn't want to dig a staircase or explore another cave that goes all the way down to the deep slate, so I decided to make my way back over to the cave we explored in episode 1, because I remember there being a water drop that pretty much drops you from the surface all the way down to the deep slate levels. I really only needed about 2 to 3 stacks of this stuff because the roof of this second floor on the mine entrance isn't going to be super big. I collected up a little extra just in case we do any more projects in today's episode, and then I made my way back up to the surface. Man, I really wish I brought my buckets with me because I'm gonna need lava for this mine entrance, and I could have easily collected it up from here. So I guess that means I'm gonna have to make another trip back down here shortly. Now that I have the deep slate, I'm gonna go ahead and get this entrance all finished up. I wanted to keep this second floor pretty small because I want it to be proportional to the build surrounding it along with the boulders. This is something I brought up in the last episode about if I'm building a village or a city, I really want a lot of the builds to be similar in size, so one of them doesn't stick out completely from the others. I'm gonna go ahead and put another medium-sized boulder right here so it gives us a little bit of separation between the mine building and the starter house. And so far, I think this build is turning out great. I brought in a little bit of moss near the base of the boulders just to make it blend a little bit with the grass. I did not mean to do that. And then we have a little flat area up here, which I'm not exactly sure what to do with. I was thinking about maybe putting in some 2 tall flowers, or even maybe putting in like a super small carrot field, but I'm not sure. With the exterior now about 90% complete, I want to take a break from this project and get the enchantment table set up so I can get my pickaxe enchanted. The reason I want to do this right now is because there is a lot of excavating that needs to be done. I should also probably use some torches and light this up so no mobs are spawning back here while I'm working on other things. I pretty much have everything I need besides the sugarcane, so I just went around our small fields harvesting some of this up, and once I had 3 stacks, I could craft all the books, bookshelves, and the enchantment table. And now I just need to find a place to put this thing in. I went ahead and just put the enchantment table on the second floor of the mine entrance for now, because I really don't have anywhere else to put it unless I just want it to be outside, which I definitely don't want to do. We're currently showing efficiency 4, but I'm not level 30 just yet, so I'm not going to enchant, but I do have an idea that will get us up to level 30 pretty quickly. By using some obsidian, I can rebuild this abandoned nether portal out here in the water and make my way into the nether to collect up a decent amount of quartz. And of course, we spawned in literally the single worst biome in the entire nether. It's like the one biome that doesn't have like any quartz at all, and oh my goodness, there's one right. Okay, I'm gonna go back through and grab some building blocks so I can get out of here. With some building blocks acquired, I can start bridging and tunneling looking for another wasteland because this is the biome that is absolutely loaded to the brim with quartz. I constantly was having to avoid ghast along with some skeletons and even some magma cubes. Finally though, I was able to find another wasteland and start collecting up this quartz until I reached level 30. Luckily, that didn't take very long whatsoever. I'm also gonna go ahead and collect up some of these bone blocks because that is free bone meal. And as you guys know, I love bone meal. I'm now up to level 30 and I also got 56 bone blocks, which is going to be a ton of bone meal. So I'm going to make my way back to the overworld. And of course it's nighttime, got to get to the bed. I went ahead and crafted a brand new diamond pickaxe because my current one was pretty wrecked. But without further ado, let's see if we can get more than just efficiency 4. Okay, that is a really solid pickaxe. Fortune or Silk Touch would have been nice, but this is going to be a great pickaxe for just getting some work done. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and clear out a pretty large room inside of this mine entrance so I have some space for some storage, along with putting in our cobblestone generator. With the room all dug out, I've been playing around with some cobblestone to get an idea of what I want the inside of this entrance to look like. And honestly, I'm having quite a bit of trouble with it. I sort of have an idea of what I want to do, but it's really hard to explain when the room looks like this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and dig it all out and explain it after. As we make our way down these steps, I want there to be a 3x3 hole, which is gonna go all the way to the bedrock. My thought with this is to do a water elevator going from the bottom to the top that will transport all of our items, which will lead into an auto sorter that will be right up here. I'm gonna split this project up into different sections to make it not so overwhelming. First up, I'm gonna go ahead and dig this pit all the way to the bottom of the world, which didn't take too long at all, and I also ran into some diamonds on my way down. For now, I crafted a bunch of ladders, and I'll just go up and down using the ladders and have a water source at the bottom that I can fall into. This is very spooky. I definitely don't want to fall down into this hole if I'm not gonna land in the water source, because that will be an instant death, and a very sad me because I will have lost this world. Continuing on, I went ahead ahead and dug out a 6x9 block area along this back wall, which is where our auto sorting system is gonna go. From there, I needed to make my way back up to the mountains where we harvested all the iron back in episode 1 because I'm gonna need quite a bit to craft some hoppers for this system. Luckily, there is tons of iron up here and a bunch of coal, which I'm harvesting also, so I'm able to smelt up all this iron. By the time I was all finished up, I was now level 30, so I went ahead and crafted a brand new diamond axe and went to Enchanting. I was able to get efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 on it, which I'm really happy about because I need to chop a bunch of 2x2 spruce trees so I can craft all the chests for the hoppers and also for the storage. And then I went on to do a decent sized crafting spree to get all the items together. Now, as some of you guys already know, I'm not very good at redstone, so I went online and found a tutorial, which I'll link down in the description. It turns out these auto sorters aren't very difficult to build. They pretty much just require a bunch of chests and a ton of hoppers, and then some other important redstone components like comparators, repeaters, and some redstone dust. I don't really understand how the item filter works. I ended up just using paper because I needed 4 placeholder items in each hopper, and I felt like paper was the least common thing I would accidentally put in this storage system. Probably the hardest part about this project was just deciding what blocks I actually want to sort. Luckily, it is pretty easy to expand this thing, so in the future, if I want to add some more chests, I am able to. This thing should be all finished up, at least when it comes to the redstone part, so I got a random assortment of blocks right here and items that I'm gonna throw in this water stream, and anything that isn't sorted in here should end up in the chest, and everything that I did sort should end up in the correlating chest. So I'll just throw everything down like this, and now I can start to see if any items are funneling in this one. Yes, we have some wheat seeds already. The gravel is in there, and the cobblestone went into the cobblestone chest. And everything I did not sort is in here. It seems that everything is working, and you know what? I always thought these projects were pretty daunting, especially these auto sorters, but it turns out it was very easy to build. I guess the next step in this project is to actually make this room look good, because right now it is very, very ugly looking. For starters, I want to get all the trapdoors placed around the water elevator that goes from the very bottom of the world up to the actual storage room. I want to use trapdoors for this, so no matter what level I'm mining on, I can just flip open a trapdoor real quick and throw my items into the water elevator. I also think it looks nice. It kind of gives this look of it being a pipe rather than a full block or like a big blocky elevator thing. With all of the trapdoors now placed in and the water running all the way to the bottom of the world, I now need to go ahead and drop to the bottom, which I never get used to this part. It is so terrifying. And I need to replace this bottom block with a piece of soul sand. And then I'm actually going to take these 2 trapdoors right here and face them like that. And luckily, when I was exploring some of those sunken ships earlier, I was able to get 2 water breathing potions, each being 3 minutes. So that should be more than enough time to drink one of those and to run the kelp all the way to the top. Oh yeah, definitely more than enough. I didn't even need to touch the other potion, and I still have 2 minutes left on this one. So now I need to drop all the way back down to the bottom again so I can get rid of the kelp. And then this should be bubble columns all the way up to the very top of this water elevator. Yes, it is. All right, so this thing is totally working then. Continuing on, I brought in some oak logs and spruce logs to add supports to make it look like the ceiling is being held up by these. And then I wanted to replace all the blocks in the walls with stone so it has a nice consistent look. Bringing in some stone stairs and stone slabs, I rounded off the edges just a little bit, and then I went ahead and replaced the entire floor with coarse dirt, or at least anywhere that I'm going to be walking. And after about an hour of work, the interior of this mine entrance is pretty much all finished up. I think it turned out great, besides the fact that there isn't much texturing in the walls, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of andesite and add little veins of it, which will just give us a little bit more detail. And also, eventually I am going to expand this storage over to this side or that side, because just having enough space to sort 9 items in a mine is not enough. I also left certain areas a little bit on the darker side because I do want it to feel like it is underground and not to be super bright and lively in here. But I guess I did add leaves, which adds life. But they were necessary. Leaves and bone meal are always necessary in my mind. Anyways, with the project all finished up, I think this is a great spot to call it for an episode. I hope you guys enjoyed a ton, and I will see you in the next one.